Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this really pretty Christmas tree wall hanging. Now this doesn't have what you call complicated sewing to do. It's got a basic straight stitch around the edge here, and then you can either make your yo-yos by hand or by sewing machine, and you can even stitch your buttons on by hand or by sewing machine. Not a difficult project to make at all. So now let's get started. This is my fabric for the very back, and then it's also the border. So your first step is to go to your ironing board and fold your outside edges, your raw edges, in 1/4 inch towards the back of the fabric. So you do that on all 4 sides. Then take your cotton batting, I have it right here, and then your background fabric. Place it on top. Remember, they're cut exactly the same size as each other. Center it in the middle of this fabric here, and you're going to have about 2 inches on all 4 sides sticking out. So 2 inches here, 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 and there. Now take 2 of your edges, opposite edges of each other. Fold them over, and I would place pins to hold it down. And I would place it all the way across. Then you're going to stitch from this point here up to here, and stitch close to the edge. So you're stitching on this side and then this side. Before I fold the bottom edge over and the top edge over, I want to take some of this fabric out of the corners. Now you're going to cut about 1/4 inch away from this edge here. So you're going to go down a little bit and begin to cut. And then from this edge, you're going to stay away from this edge over here about 1/4 inch. And it's just getting rid of some of the bulk. So it'll be easier to fold this over and it'll lay a lot nicer. Okay, so then you're going to take this corner here, and I'm kind of finger pressing this just a little bit. Take this corner and bring it over to the edge like that. And finger press it again. Then you're going to fold this up, and there you have a mitered corner. Now you're going to do the same thing over here. Bring this corner over to that edge, finger press it, and then fold both of it up. Now if you folded it correctly, it should all line up really well. Then pin it down, and then you're going to stitch from this corner down here up to here, stitch across, and then stitch down to this corner. And you're going to do the same thing up here. This is the fabric that I'm using for the yo-yos. And I have a selvage edge here at this end, and then a selvage edge at this end. And I have the pretty side of the fabric up. So I'm going to take the 2 raw edges, this raw edge, and bring it over to this raw edge. And line up your fabrics. There we go. And now take this selvage edge and bring it over to the other selvage edge, like that. Now I'm using a template that's a 4-inch diameter, and this is a template by June Taylor. And I think you get about 5 templates in a package of a variety of sizes. I think it's like from like 1/2 inch on up to 5 inch. Well, I'm using the 4-inch diameter circle. You need 20 yo-yos or 20 circles. Well, I don't want to cut out 20 circles separately, so that's why I've layered these fabrics. You're going to draw 5 circles. So just trace around your template. If you don't have these templates by June Taylor, just find a lid, something round that's about 4 inches. Trace them. Then you want to take them and place pins around it because you're going to cut them all out at the same time. Then I use a rotary cutter, but you can use scissors and cut right on your drawn lines. So here are my circles that I've cut out, and you want to look at the back of it on the not so pretty side of your fabric. So the pretty side is the front, this is the back. Take a needle and thread and do a basting stitch and make sure that you have a little knot at the end of your thread. Now, I don't like to sew by hand, so I did a basting stitch with my sewing machine. And I set my stitch length to 10. And before I did a basting stitch around the edge, I did maybe 2 back stitches, not too many, and then stitched around the edge. Then, no matter if you're doing it by hand or by machine, take the top thread if it's by machine, the one on the very top, as soon as I get a hold of it, here it is, and place your thumb or your finger right in the middle and gather it up. And I think I'm pulling the wrong thread. There it is. Gather it up, just like that. And take your finger out and kind of flatten it and just keep gathering it in. And you just want to play with it till it looks nice and even like that. And that's how you make a yo-yo. This is the layout that I used. And there are 6 rows of yo-yos. And this is a really easy pattern to figure out. Row 1 has 1 yo-yo. Row 2, 2. Row 3, 3. That's how easy it is to know how many yo-yos are in a row. And your first one up here at the top is right in the center. And then the 2 below it are centered underneath it. So where the 2 yo-yos hit here is right in the center. And you just keep doing that all the way down. Now, the 2 bottom ones here are optional large buttons. I used 2 large brown buttons. Or you can make 2 more yo-yos, either make them out of green or whatever color you're going to make your tree, or you could make them out of brown. So you're going to center all of this on your background fabric. And you're going to have anywhere from 1.5 inches to maybe 2 inches up at the top and the bottom, and maybe 1 inch on the side. Place your yo-yos first. You want to align up all of your yo-yos. Don't stitch anything on just yet. And then, once you've got them all centered, place pins to hold them in place so that you don't lose where they go. So get them all centered, all lined up by row. What I did was I took my buttons, laid them on top, and I stitched them on by sewing machine, except for this star button. It just wouldn't fit under my presser foot. So this was the only one I stitched on by hand. So if you don't have a sewing machine, or you don't want to do it by sewing machine, then you could just stitch them on by hand. So you would take your button, place it on top of the yo-yo, and then stitch them all on. And then the same thing with your buttons. If it's a yo-yo or a button, you would just go ahead and stitch them all on by hand. Now here's how I made my hanging loop. I cut out a piece of fabric that's 7 inches long by about 2 inches wide. Take it and bring those edges in towards the center and press. And then fold that in half and press. And then stitch close to the edge along there. And here's how I put it on. You could here's one that's already on, and all I did was just laid it there, and I made it extra long because I wanted it to be real stable. I didn't want it too short to where it makes the edge buckle and not lay very flat. So place it there like that, and then with a needle and thread, you're going to stitch it on. Now don't go through all of your layers where it comes out and shows on the front. So stitch around all the edges and then down through the center. If you wanted to enhance this and embellish this even more, you could make a nice fabric bow, or you can purchase ready-made bows and put it up here at the top. Then you can also stitch on extra large buttons. They're great big craft buttons, and you can put one in each corner right along there. And one other option I have for you. Now I found when I hung this up on my wall, I didn't have any problems with it folding in and collapsing on itself. But if you're worried about that, you can buy those really skinny dowels. You can get them at Joann's, and it's a long little skinny round piece of wood. They come in a variety of widths. You could get one that's like maybe a 1/4 inch diameter, cut it to fit the back, and just take needle and thread and stitch it on to keep the upper edge stable. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're interested in other Christmas decorative projects that you can make for your home or for gifts, look below your YouTube screen for those video links. Or if you're interested in other beginner sewing projects, there'll be those links also listed below your YouTube screen. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny. See you next time.